Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Yeah, today I'm gonna do something really different, for being me at least, but this is a mixed update between my project plants and a massive semi-hydro repotting of cattleyas and a dendrobium type orchid. So yeah, I just want to show you my project plants, my project orchids, which I had 2 updates on before. And this is you've seen this one before. It's my Elsie Chunfong Apple Jade, the one that I transformed into semi-hydro, my type of semi-hydro setup at least. And this one had only a few roots emerging, and all of the old roots were dead, and it was sitting in a mixture of moss and bark, I think. Yeah, and it didn't really like it, so I had to repot it into this. And this is it's lecky beans and a little bit of sand, but yeah, just for looks, and a few pieces of charcoal as well in it, somewhere hiding. But you can see the roots. Isn't this massive root production in just a couple of months? I mean, it's can it be 3 months at maximum? I don't really remember, but yeah, not much more than that. And it's it's sitting in a regular plastic pot with holes in the bottom. So it's nothing special with this one. And in this plastic cover, this plastic pot, outside pot, with I think 2 or 3 centimeters of water, and it's standing there, and I think it's thriving. You can see its latest pseudobulb, its latest cane. Yeah, it's all plump and shiny, and the older ones, yeah, they're looking great as well. They're plump, and this stripe is really tight now, so I should have to loosen it up a little bit. As you can see, yeah, it's a beautiful orchid now. Unfortunately, a few roots on the outside. And I lost a few root tips, but, well, I shouldn't complain about this. And I think could it be a new growth here? Somewhere? Maybe? Yeah, I think it's producing a new growth here. From the latest pseudobulb as well. This one. It comes out dark, so it looks, it looks dead, but it's not. It's just dark in its color. Yeah. So I have a few more, and I have this half-dead Bobophile, and I think it's let's see what its name is. It's Bobophile fascinator, and it never did well for me. I got it without any roots, and I knew that it didn't have any good roots, so I just bought it for a discount, so it was okay. But it's never been doing great for me, so I decided to convert it into this, this little semi-hydro cup, and it's got a quite deep water reservoir, so I think it's it did a trick for it. But I'm a little bit worried that it's gonna start to rot here if it gets too wet for too long. But yeah, I have to be a little bit careful with this one. But yeah, but it's doing better now. Yeah, it doesn't look that way, but it really is. Okay, yeah, and then we have this one, my little Angraecum Leonis that I showed you in my project plants update 2, and of course project plants 1. Yeah, and well, it was a little bit wrinkly, and it didn't have so many roots. A few old stiff roots, but really short, about 1 centimeter. Oh, not even 1 centimeter long roots. I think it was really short roots. And well, now I don't know if you can see in there, but there's a little bit of green there, and yeah, it wasn't there before. So the leaves are not wrinkly anymore, even though it lost 1 or 2 leaves. It doesn't really matter. It's on its way on recovering. So yeah, I think it's gonna make it. I think it's gonna do great in the future, in a couple of years. So yeah, and I have this one, my large Angraecum Seskipedale times bossarya from Denmark. It's from Hans Christiansen and Orchids in Denmark, in Fredensborg. And yeah, it says bossarya and it says Seskipedale variation bossarya, yeah. So, and as you all probably seen already, it's in spike. It's in spike for the first time. And this one is doing well, but unfortunately, it got spider mites this summer. It was sitting next to, not far from my catasedums, and they got spider mites, a few of them at least, like usual when they're in their growing stage. So, yeah, it just, popped over to this guy, but I think it lost 1 or 2 leaves here. But I sprayed it with leaf shine, what do you want to call it? This terrible stuff that smells so bad, you know, that makes the leaves shiny on houseplants. And yeah, I was desperate. But it did the trick and it got rid of the spider mites and gave me a spike for the first time instead. And this one, why I'm showing this one, is I wanted you to see the massive root growth here, as you can see, with a lot of growing green root tips everywhere. Yeah, I usually spray the aerial roots every day. I go over it with my sprayer. I've got that, yeah, procedure as a routine. And yeah, of course, it's sitting in regular semi-hydro with leca beans, medium-sized leca beans, and I also added a few pieces of charcoal to it. And it's got these 2 vampire bites, little holes here. I would have, I made the reservoir a little bit higher up, a little bit deeper, but I didn't know that then. It's been sitting in this setup for 1.5 years, a little bit more, almost 2 years now. So I'm just thinking about converting a few of my other orchids that's in growing stage. I mean, this one didn't have any live roots, but it had a few new roots emerging here from this new pseudobulb, this new cane here. And that's the trick, I think, with growing cattleyas, or orchids in general, in semi-hydro. I think they do best if they don't have any roots and just have a few new roots emerging. So the new roots can find the way down into the media and get used to the new kind of media and settle. So I was thinking about this orchid. Sorry, I'm shouting. Yeah, you can see here, this is my Diacular. This one has got many names. So this one is Diacular, Chantilly lace Twinkle, and it's a lovely one. It's one of my favorite orchids, one of my favorite cattleyas, which I thought was going to be a miniature, but it's growing larger and larger for every year. And it usually blooms on every cane. You can see here, this one, the first time it flowered for me, it gave me 2 flowers. And the second time around, I think it gave me 2 flowers or 3 flowers perhaps. And the third time around, it only gave me, as you can see, this cane is, it's a lot shorter. It's smaller than the previous one here. So it only produced 1 flower, and that's not much. That's cheap. I mean, no. But as you can see, the newest growth is getting larger, or at least taller. And it's producing a couple of new roots here, with green root tips in there. But the roots are in the air, and the new roots with the new green root tips is making its way down into the pot to the edge of the clay pot. And what's going to happen when this root touches the side of the clay pot? Yeah, it's going to die. It's going to look like this. And so I just happened to lift it up a little bit. Yeah, and it's been sitting in moss and this kind of media, but not this much moss in the past. So yeah, I just looked, and that's why I chose this one. Yeah, the roots are quite bad. Yeah, you can see. You can just peel it off like a banana. They're not alive anymore. I think it's got a few viable roots in here, but most of the roots comes out from this newest cane. So I think, I'm not really fond of that the roots are pointing upwards. I want them to go down into the media, but well, you can't win them all, can you? So what I want to do is, I mean, the roots aren't viable, not so much at least, so I want it to be in semi-hydro. Or, yeah, if it doesn't work, it will, I think this one will manage. It will recover from it and do well, in a while at least, if it doesn't succeed immediately. Yeah. Well, so I'm going to repot this one into semi-hydro, and I'm going to rinse the roots, and I'm going to save the ones that are alive, of course, even though I'm a little bit scared that the old roots are going to die off when I transform it into semi-hydro. But that's a chance I can take, and yeah, I will have to take that chance. I think it will do much better for me in semi-hydro, because this is not progress. Yeah. All right, I'm going to rinse this one. And I also got another candidate for semi-hydro. And this is a recent repot. It's the one with a long name that I never, ever remember. Elsie Memoria Robert Straight Island Delight. It's a beautiful one from Grobreschner. And yeah, this one is a beautiful one, and it wasn't a pricey one either. So I think it cannot stay in this clay pot forever in moss. It's going to happen. It's going to go the same way as my Chantilly lace Twinkle. The roots are going to hit the sides of the clay pot here. And yeah, and I think it's a little bit too much water retentive here. And I didn't repot it. I didn't rinse it enough, since I didn't want to disturb the roots. But now, as I can see, that there are new roots and new root tips coming out here, I think it's perfectly safe to convert it into semi-hydro. I don't really know what the rest of the roots look like. I think that the other roots are quite bad. Sad to say that, but yeah, I think I can convert this one. Yeah, safely. And now I have another one. When I'm at it, I'm going to try this one out. This is going to be a real disappointment if it doesn't work. It's my beautiful young plant. It's my epidendrum. Oh yeah, it wasn't I thought it was a dendrobium. No, this is my epidendrum nocturnam. And this one drinks a lot of water, and it's sitting in a really, really small pot with absolutely no media in it. No whatsoever. So it's sitting in this cup, and it dries out so fast. I mean, in one day. And it drinks and it drinks and it drinks, and all the roots are on the outside. And yeah, but it's been used to sitting in a little bit of, I mean, yeah, a little bit of water in the bottom here. And yeah, I will just try it. I would just try it out. A 9 centimeter pot, I think. We shall see. I think it's got a massive root system here, so I wouldn't want to have it in a too small pot. So I think 9 centimeter plastic pot could do the trick for it. As you can see, I just broke the new growth off. Yeah, it fell out of from my shelf down into my sofa. But you can see it's still trying to grow this leaf. Isn't it amazing? So it's a real vigorous plant, this one. Yeah. All right. And yeah, when I'm at it, I got this one. This recent quick repotted RLC Golf Green Hairy Pig, one of my favorites. And yeah, I'm not really sure what to do with this guy, but it's I did a quick repotting on this guy. I just, yeah, pulled it out of its pot, and I just placed it in a clay pot with an extra layer of sphagnum moss around the side where the newest roots are and the newest growth is. And yeah, the new growth is really progressing. So now I started to think that it could be, yeah, flowering size in 1 year. If it produces one more lovely growth here. And it's coming on here. I can feel the bump. But anyways, if the next growth is going to be larger than this one, so yeah, maybe it could be flowering size in 1 or 2 years. Yeah, but that wasn't the case. That's not what I'm going to talk about now. As you can see, some new roots coming out. And I think I really have to repot it anyway, so since it's too water retentive. This media here, it never dries out. So it likes the moisture, as you can see. It thrives here in this water retentive media. So why not put it in semi-hydro? Yeah, so I think I'm going to place it in semi-hydro. Yeah. And I also got this one, this little Cattleya Rex from my Schwerter orchid haul in June. In my first orchid video. Cattleya Rex. It's one of my favorite Cattleyas. And it's producing, yeah, it produced a new growth here. That rotted off. It got black and rotted off. It's the same thing. This orchid is a real fussy orchid. It's the same as Cattleyas doviana and a few others. But I tried this variety 3 times now. So, but it's producing a new growth here. And that old new growth, it's, yeah, I'm not sure it's gonna manage. But as you can see, it's producing a new root system here. It's a little new root coming out there. And as it's producing a new growth in there, yeah, it's going to produce a little bit more roots soon. Yeah, but the root system is okay, but, well, it's not doing as well as I want it to. And perhaps semi-hydro isn't the best deal for it. But since it's not doing great anyways, I just feel that I don't have much to lose. I can get a new one. I know it sounds bad, but I can. And I sure would like to have one in flowering size, but I would try it out and see what happens. Now, when it's in growing stage, I would want to repot it anyways. So why not choose semi-hydro and create my own little semi-hydro shelf to follow up with you guys, this project, semi-hydro project. And now I just want to show you one more before we start repotting. This one is a plant I got from my first orchid haul from Slc Orchideen. It's Cattleyas orantiaca mishma spot. Yeah. And I just happened to dig a little bit in there. I was just looking to see what the roots looked like underneath here. But I think they're dead. But yeah, you could read on the website that they had a fresh import from Brazil. And all the plants were delivered or, yeah, transported to them bare-rooted. So most of the roots on the Cattleyas had died off, and it, yeah, they wrote it on their website. So I knew, but it was, I thought it was a little bit difficult to know which ones were the ones with bad roots. I mean, they repotted it. So wouldn't it be better if they just, yeah, delivered it to me, bare-rooted, so I knew? But anyways, it doesn't matter. But this could be a nice candidate for semi-hydro when this new growth produces, when this new growth produces some new roots. I will rip it out of this media and transform this guy into semi-hydro as well in another video in a couple of months, I think, or 1 month. It can happen real fast when an orchid all of a sudden decides to produce some new roots. It happens in a couple of days. All right, let's get started.